Hi, my name's Penny. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about how to buy less books. Now, I should start with a disclaimer. If you want to buy books, there's nothing wrong with buying books. You can buy books. I'm not the boss of you. Do what you like. I personally only buy books if I think I would want to reread them or I would want to lend them to other people. But it's up to you when you want to buy books. You've got to decide. However, what I do see a lot of is people saying that they're on a book buying ban and then, oh no, I haven't been able to stick to my book buying ban. So there's obviously people who want to buy less books and are struggling with it. And so since I managed to not buy too many books, in my opinion, at least, I mean, I know I have all these ones here, but it's not that many. So I thought I would share kind of my thoughts about that. So in my experience, bans only work if you're able to completely cut something out of your life. So if you're trying to ban something and you can just be like, I never want to think about that again, then maybe a ban will work. Book buying bans for people who love books and read lots of books are probably never going to work because you're never going to be able to completely ban buying books, like just stop. It's very unlikely. You probably wouldn't want to. As I said, as long as you're making a rational, informed decision based on whatever else is going on in your life, then you should be able to buy books. But if you still want to buy books but you just want to buy less, then probably a ban isn't really what you're looking for. So my number one tip for buying less books would be to join your public library system. You can get kind of that thrill of getting new books, but without the financial cost. And I know some people don't like the library because it only gives you kind of a short time to read the books. But if you don't get to read them in that short time, you can always get them out again. It's not the end of the world. And in fact, maybe it's even double exciting because you get to get the book multiple times. Then either as well as using the library, or instead, if for whatever reason, like maybe your public library isn't very good, so that doesn't work for you, another option is essentially to use lists. So instead of always doing an impulse buy of a book, whenever you kind of get that feeling like, oh, I want to read that book, instead of just buying it straight away, add it to a list. Goodreads is a really good option for this, or you can just create like a Google spreadsheet. That's what I've got. I've got a list of books I want to buy. I only use it for, as I said, books that I really love, but if there's a book where I love it and I'm like, oh, I want to buy that, I don't buy it straight away. I add it on my list, and then if I see it cheap, I'll buy it, or if I decide that I particularly deserve a reward, then I'll go and look at my list and let myself buy a couple of books off it. So yeah, using lists is another tip that I would say. Use lists instead of just buying things immediately. It gives you a cool down period, and at least some books, the ones that you regret the most, you might be able to hold yourself back from. If you're new to this, I would highly recommend practicing. So plan a trip to the bookshop where you would normally buy things, but instead take your phone or whatever, have your list available. Go to the bookshop and just anything you see that you would like, write it down on the list. When you get home, having not bought anything, you can celebrate that you successfully bought less books. And if you practice a little bit, eventually it'll become a habit that instead of buying the books, you put them on the list. Now, probably the list thing isn't going to work very well unless you have then kind of a follow-up step where you regularly look at your list and let yourself either cut things from it or purchase the ones that you now can calmly and logically decide that you can afford to buy, you want to buy it, you're not going to regret buying it. And I think when you're setting this up, you really need to look at why it is that you want to buy less books. If it's because you want to spend less money because you can't afford it, then work out what are your financial goals, and if you can, track your progress towards those goals, really visualize it. Maybe work out how much you think you can afford to spend on books, and then visualize in some way, whatever way you like. It could be spreadsheet, post-it notes, just write it down in your bullet journal, anywhere. Just make it visual so that you can track your progress and see how you're doing, and that's going to really help kind of reinforce whatever it is that you're trying to achieve financially. And essentially the same advice applies, like if your problem is that you just have too many books that you haven't read, then start tracking how you're getting through your TBR, and perhaps when you make a certain amount of progress, reward yourself with a book. I've seen quite a few people doing like a book balance sheet where they track every month how many books they bought and how many books they read or unhauled, and they try to have that come out as a negative number. And I think this is a way better approach to a ban if your goal is trying to reduce your TBR. Also, if that really is your problem, you might also want to just start unhauling books that you're never going to read. I know that Lala on her channel has been doing some unhaul videos where she basically has different categories, and she forces herself to unhaul a book in each category. And I think if you do that, it's also going to help you, because you're going to start realizing what kinds of books you're regularly unhauling, and you might maybe start learning that you shouldn't buy those books in the first place. So another reason I can think that booktubers might be buying a lot of books is because you want to do the haul videos. People are always like, oh, I've got 1,000,000 books, here's my haul. And obviously if you buy less books, then those videos are less exciting. But again, I'll come back to the library as your savior here. You can still do library hauls, and they're just as exciting, but much kinder to your wallet. And also, it comes with the added bonus of supporting your local library. Libraries are really amazing places that support everybody in your community having access to the information and entertainment that they need, and so supporting your local library is a really good thing to do. So just to quickly summarize, because I feel like maybe I used more words than I needed to, basically join your local library, work out why it is that you want to buy less books, and then when you know why, visualize your progress and track it over time. Avoid impulse buys by keeping a list, and practice adding things to the list rather than purchasing books. And then lastly, work out a system that lets you buy the right number of books for you and kind of allows you to optimize that book buying, either by purchasing things when they're on sale or just by buying the ones that you really, really want and not the ones that just were a bit exciting in the moment. So I hope that that was helpful. If you have any other tips for people about how to buy less books or any techniques that work for you, then please comment them down below. I hope that all your future book purchases will be ones that you are incredibly happy with and that you don't regret. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.